Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 55. My name is Zach, and as always, I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, hey, hey.
My best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight? Hey, real quick, because I see all our DMs we get, right? Do I owe someone a how's everybody doing tonight or a direct?
You do, yeah. I mean, to be fair, we haven't taken up his offer.
Okay.
So after we recorded last week, we talked about how we didn't think anyone had seen Camilla's spring break challenge, or at least with our group. Someone reached out to us on Instagram and said, I've got it. Do you want me to send it to you?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I just have one request. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, it's going to be something weird. And then his only request was just, can I get a personalized, how's everyone doing tonight? Or how's everybody doing? I screwed up your quote.
Yeah, that's why you don't say it and I do.
Yeah, so so the weird thing is on Instagram his name is something different.
Right.
I believe it is like Chow something. But where'd it go? Did you delete it? I'm looking at our emails right now.
No, I got it right here.
You do? Okay. Maybe that's why I can't see it.
The name I see here is
Al.
Al.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just didn't want to say the wrong name.
So not to be confused with Aladdin.
Well, you know what?
I'm assuming.
There it is. It's on mine right now. So yeah, why don't you give him a personalized
Are we going with Al or Chow?
What? Just go with Al.
Al?
Yeah, that's what this is.
All right. Hey, Al. How you doing tonight?
I was wondering if you were going to say, how's everybody doing?
Well, but he's just a singular individual,
it.
So how you doing tonight, Al?
So shout out to Al. He had the spring break challenge. He sent it to us. We'll watch it later. It won't be tonight because if everything goes according to plan, we're going to be recording 3 podcasts tonight.
Yeah.
Which I knew when we talked about recording, we were going to do 2. One for Patreon, our usual Redemption House, which is only on patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast.
But I strongly encourage knocking out all 3 of our pods tonight.
So we are starting a new endeavor on Patreon that's only going to be on Patreon.
Yeah.
So if you sign up to support us, you will have access to this extra
fantasy
stuff.
You ran out of words. I'm
very lightheaded
so
right now.
Are we getting drugged Hannah tonight?
No, I almost took my medicine, but I think my blood sugar might be low. I just did a breathing exercise, and it didn't do much.
Which is how you normally prepare for the podcast, if we're being honest.
A breathing exercise?
Yeah.
No, not really. That's what I do. I do those when I feel like I'm going to pass out or my heart.
So anyway, we're on
to keep me from going to the emergency room
on
again.
Patreon. We're going to we talked through our patrons. We asked them if this is something they wanted because we've had people reach out to us about it. So we're going to do something different. It's not going to be a recap show.
Right.
We are actually going to go back on Hulu.
Yeah.
And watch Rock of Love.
One of the great, I don't know if it's considered a hidden treasure or it's buried the way it is for a good reason.
It's a good reason.
I think it's buried.
So we're going to watch Rock of Love and just watch it live and then kind of give our thoughts as it's happening. What we're going to do is it's going to play back in our headphones for us, so you guys won't hear what we're hearing, and we're just going to talk in our mics. But we'll tell you, like, hey, we're starting the episode now. You can watch along with us. We'll tell you when the commercials come up because we are going to watch it with the commercial breaks because we know not everyone has commercial free.
Right.
And so we'll let you know when it starts back. It's going to be an interesting learning curve for us, but I haven't watched that show since it initially aired, which is what, like 2004, 2005?
Somewhere in there, yeah, mid-2000s.
Yeah.
Totally different era reality television.
Was it on VH1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah, I used to, like, when I would go to my grandmother's house, I used to go to her bedroom while she was in the kitchen, and I would try to watch it. It was like a guilty pleasure of mine, but I've only seen maybe a collective total of 3 episodes.
I'm pretty sure I watched the whole first season and the whole second season. Mm-hmm. Plus, I watched the spinoffs that came out of that. But
you'll remember some of these girls.
I know.
In there.
So before we started recording this, we were troubleshooting some audio issues and had it playing on Jake's computer. And I was like, I remember her. I was like, this is going to get weird because I'd forgotten about a lot of these people.
You'll also remember Bret Michaels. So
who you're named after.
Yeah, let's get into why we have a little bit of a connection with this show.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
No, look, my mother, who had me, got pregnant with me at 17. You know, she was a big Poison fan back in the day, and still to this day is a big Bret Michaels fan
And Kid Rock fan.
Kid Rock's number one fan.
She's got a type.
So, I used to
long
get
hair.
them confused.
Yeah.
I used to think they were the same person.
Well, Kid Rock didn't come around for about 10 or 15 years after Poison.
Well, I had never heard of Poison. I knew who Bret Michaels was, and I knew what Kid Rock looked like, and I thought that Kid Rock was Bret Michaels' alter ego.
They're not.
It's not a Garth Brooks and Chris Gaines
I was about
situation.
to say, I thought it was that country singers thing that did the weird emo rock.
Don't ever say that to me.
Well, so, you know, being that my mother was and still is such a big fan of Bret Michaels, I was given the middle name Bret.
Yeah.
So, my full name, if you're curious, is Jacob. That's right. Not just Jake. I am a Jacob. Bret Engel. JBI.
Do you want to say your social security number?
I do not.
Your home
What about
ad-
your home address? Credit card number?
No, but I'll share. Can we give out your guys' address? Hand, because you like when people show up unannounced.
No.
That's not me. That's Zach.
Okay.
Wrong. But we've only had one person come here. Actually, 3 people if we count Patreon. We've had 3 people come here to record. 2 of them were your brothers.
That's right.
And then one of them was Mikey, which was a couple episodes ago.
Which a quick happy birthday shout out to Mikey.
Yesterday,
You're
right?
late.
Yesterday.
Yep.
I texted him personally.
We didn't record yesterday. So again,
but we were supposed to.
Yeah.
Had it not been for
I had some work things that I couldn't avoid. And so I got home at like 11:30 last night.
So even though it's a day late, happy birthday to our guy Mikey.
Yep.
Tall Mikey G.
You know, is it a day late or is it a year early?
No, it's a day late.
But he's not a day late friend. Shout out to Amberlynn.
I didn't get that reference. Yeah, so we watched Free Agents, episode 4. We're a month into this right now. And, I mean...
Listen, cocktails and pool parties. Is it just me or do they not do that anymore?
They didn't have a pool in the last season, in Namibia or whatever. It seems cold a lot of times.
But even the previous season, like they had a pool, but it
Final
was
Reckoning?
Yeah, they had a pool, but they didn't have like parties like this. It was
Did they have? Oh, they did have
They
a pool.
did.
You're right. Yeah.
because everybody would sit on the lounging chairs and like tan, and then you would have the occasional person just like swimming laps as an exercise, but nobody, like, they didn't have a pool party.
I mean,
where everybody just cuts loose and hangs out and then gets drunk and gets in a fight.
it could be when like the filming was like the seasonal time. Like I don't, at Final Reckoning, I don't remember when it was filmed, or like if I don't remember where it was filmed. So whatever hemisphere that is, could be opposite seasons from where we're at in the
I
U.S.
don't know. Everybody was always in a bikini all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
It seemed hot.
it could be also like these last couple seasons have taken a way more, like everyone's mad at each other.
Serious tone, and it's not fun like this.
Again, I don't have any complaints about War of the Worlds other than a couple minor things. So
Well, Anissa's not in a good mood, which
I think it started out because she's grossed out
Anise has
to begin with.
not
I gotta tell you,
generally in a
man.
good mood.
she could have easily. So we did the whole like re-answering the questions from our episode 0 pod where we talked about underrated, overrated, our top 3 males, females. To me, Anissa could easily be considered the most overrated female competitor.
Because of her elimination record, everybody's afraid of her.
I've just never. I think.
I'm gonna look it up.
I think you knock. Cause she is like she's a bigger girl, so she's got a lot more strength to her, a lot more power to her.
Yeah.
You knock 20 pounds off of her. I don't think she really does anything. I don't.
I'm looking to see what her record is.
And I'm not like encouraging that. I'm not like saying
She needs.
That's not
you're
what
not
I'm
saying.
saying.
She needs to lose
No,
weight.
that's not what I'm saying.
I think she looks good this season.
I think Anissa's another one of those that talks a lot, that kind of like talks up her standing on the show, that is kind of manufactured in her head.
So here's her thing. She's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. She did 12 seasons. Dirty 30 was the last one. Her third season, Gauntlet 2, she made the final. And then her sixth season, the Duel 2, she made the final. She's never won a final.
But those seasons, what's so weird about those older seasons is they're team oriented. Like it's the bigger teams, right?
It was rookies versus veterans. Her first one, she made a final. So it was like 2 big teams. In the Duel 2, I'm trying to look because I don't remember the format of the Duel 2.
I think what started it all is she doesn't like Laurel, and she doesn't like Jordan.
By the way,
and she and Jordan are sharing a room, so Laurel and Jordan are hugging a lot in her room, and it's grossing her out. But also, she just doesn't like them to begin with. So I think it's just like gnawing away at her.
And I think it's because like they're doing it in her room, right? Like she's in that room too.
And so she's just tired of it. But I mean, she did say it's like they're dating themselves.
This is typical to me. She's threatened by Laurel.
I think everybody's threatened by Laurel.
So I can get off my phone. She's done 12 seasons. She has 25 challenge wins. Some of those are team wins for sure. She's done 17 eliminations. 8 wins, 9 losses.
So she's lost more than half of her eliminations.
Yes,
so it's
but
like
that's
51 to 49%.
No, nope.
I'm so lightheaded. I'm trying not to pass out now.
That is not your excuse for math, and you know it.
We never claimed you to be a mathematician anyway, Han.
So
thanks, Jake.
Yeah, and some of those are going to be Dirty 30 and some other ones like more recent. So at this point, I don't know what her elimination record was. I'm sure Paul can tell us because he knows all that stuff for whatever reason.
I mean, where do you guys stand? Where do you guys stand on Aneesa overall as a competitor throughout the years?
I always felt like she was someone who had a reputation, and in her mind, she was an elite player.
Which is just not true.
And that's how I felt. I was like, she's big. Like she's if you're going into a physical thing with her as another girl, like she could push some people around for sure. But I was like, I never got what the big draw of like, oh, it's Aneesa.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Anything where she can't utilize her like strength and size that she has over everyone else.
I don't honestly remember if she's great at puzzles.
Like I don't think she can do much anything.
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, even a lot of the people even said like, "Oh, you don't want to go against Aneesa." Or
and every time
I think her intimidation is her physical strength, and I don't know
that
it's anything else.
She also will 100% confront you head on in front of everyone, so that's an intimidating thing. Like people don't want to call her out because she'll go right at them.
Yeah, which we see later, which annoyed me too, but
yeah,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, so basically, they have the pool party or whatever, and then they go out to the daily, and they get to the beach, and they're these big, they're like these big blow up orbs that like your legs hang out in, and you have handles you hold on the inside, and
like they're like a big thing now, even because like you see on like the fail videos, people get in them all the time, and they like run head first towards each other like in a gym, and then one of them goes flying.
Yeah, I mean they've been around for a while, but they put their pictures on them so you can kind of as a viewer identify who's in what. By the way, those things. Speaking of, they used to do it at the Grizzlies games. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, they were doing that, and it was like whoever fell over or got knocked the furthest back lost, and then someone won a prize. They did it with like 2 riders, I believe, like two Grizzlies beat riders, and one of them got kind of thrown out of his and split his head open on the court, and they don't do that anymore. They've completely discontinued that. Yeah. And like he wasn't mad about it or anything. I don't remember which rider it was. Do you?
But
you know, again, it was probably
just one of those like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's probably 3 or 4 years ago. And because
I don't remember that.
They do the like in between. It may have been before you started watching, honestly, but they do the in between quarters and stuff.
More than 4 years ago.
Yeah, again, I don't. Out of the top of my head, I don't remember when it was.
When I first saw that this was the daily on this episode, first thing I thought
called Bounce Out, by the way.
Yeah, like. Can we set this up in my backyard?
Okay, so like Zach and I had started watching this season a while back, and we didn't get very far. Once this daily came on, I do remember that we saw this episode, and so my only note on this daily was I forgot how much dadgum fun this daily was.
Yeah, gosh dog fun, you know, however you want to word
so
it.
Bad.
Yeah, like this is a fun one. Like this is just a good time. You want to have some friends over and just run yourself headfirst in each other, trying to get into the opposing team's goal, and maybe have some barbecue afterwards, some hot dogs, some hamburgers. You know?
Yeah.
Am I right?
I don't know if they had stuff like that there.
They're
in Uruguay? Was that what this season is?
Maybe.
I think so.
That would have been
yes, because of the lemons.
That would have been some good incentive because the winning team could have got to grill out afterwards.
Oh, that would have been so much fun.
Yeah, I would have liked that.
So basically, there's
Jake, that's what we should do for your birthday.
Let's do it.
there's two teams, A and B, and then TJ picks names out of a hat for the captains. Of course, it's Bananas and Kara, ironically, who've carried the show the last handful of years. And then they just kind of alternate picking male and females until everyone's picked. Again, Preston's the last one, I believe.
Okay.
Here we go. I knew this was coming.
Listen.
Here we go.
Can we just cut here, and then I'll go back like the last couple of weeks and then drop in the same thing?
Yeah.
I'm not starting out the same way. It is such a darn shame that Cohutta and Preston are the two men that are left.
It's a god dog shame, is what it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
they should not be the last two. Swift should be in one of those, but absolutely,
Well,
I don't even have. It's wrong. It is so wrong because we all know Cohutta is a good competitor. Preston keeps proving himself over and over and over again.
All right, Han, I want to play a quick game with you real quick. All right?
I can't find that.
All right, so I'm going to throw out a name of competitors that are remaining here, and you're going to tell me if you'd rather have Preston or them. And we're going to see how far down the
It's
list
going to be
Preston falls.
up until like CT.
All right, well, let's do it. All right, so we'll go with the guy that was picking a team. Bananas.
Okay.
Bananas or Preston?
I don't like Bananas, but he's pretty good, so Bananas.
All right. CT.
CT.
Okay. Zach.
Zach.
All right. Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan.
Isaac.
Preston.
I think so too. And then, you know, you've got let's see, Johnny Riley.
I don't know. He's okay.
Not a great daily for Isaac.
No.
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 I would pick Preston over Johnny Riley.
Leroy.
But he's got a bad back though.
Was it this season?
He's had one.
No, it was before he came on the challenge.
Brandon.
Oh, Brandon. I would pick Brandon first.
Swift.
Preston. Swift should have been last.
Cohutta.
Preston.
I'd pick Cohutta over Preston.
So,
But you saw how well Preston made those 2 points happen for his team.
so Preston falls kind of right in the middle for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't pick him first for sure, but he deserves to go before some of these other guys.
Well, and he was a game changer in this game.
He made the 2 points for his team.
Yeah, so did you notice that in the edit that if you watch, you know, they did the point of view cameras from the people inside the balls sometimes.
Uh-huh.
The people that were the, quote, ball that were either yellow or red, they just had yellow or red striped tape. But when you watch from a far back,
You couldn't tell.
Well, someone in post, like in the editing, just colored the whole ball in yellow or colored the whole thing in red and then just like tracked it. So that way, as a viewer, you could tell where the ball was a lot easier. They weren't fully yellow or fully red in real life.
Yeah, because the ball changed. Like, the ball person changed. It wasn't the same person every
Yeah, but
time.
they could have two different things. I mean, but like I bet that in the edit, just they're like, oh, you can't even see those like yellow stripes from far away.
God, I love it when you talk techie.
Yeah. So
I don't know if if the mic picked up my eye roll.
We heard it.
So I think CT's talking about Zach at this point, which is where our episode title is coming from. And he says, Zach, a.k.a. Conan, a.k.a. Thor, a.k.a. Goliath. Got biblical on the last one.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Speaking of Zach, so he's on the other team. He's on the opposite team of CT. He was
I
actually...
honestly don't remember who's on what team.
He was actually Cara Maria's first pick. I was surprised she didn't pick CT. She always picks him.
Yeah, that was strange.
But she went with Zach this time, and then her team lost, so that's what happens. No, so Zach piped up when they were trying to figure out who's going to be the ball, and Zach said, "Oh, I say we make Isaac the ball because he's crazy." And
in theory,
yeah, and so they expected him to like go ballistic and just run right through everybody.
now Isaac's not tall like Zach, but he's thick.
He's thick. He's really thick.
He's built similar to like my cousin Jake, like the one that we've talked about on the
one
the
that
podcast.
had the ravioli in the closet.
Yeah.
And that you shoved his vehicle full of acorns and stuff.
And then
I think
you
it was hickory nuts.
You played the really loud scream in the middle of the night while he was asleep.
Yeah, there's lots of stories.
Yeah.
By the way, hickory nuts are like 8 times the size of acorns.
Yeah.
They also stink, don't they?
Yeah, that's why we did it. Yeah.
Threw his mattress in the attic.
Oh, I put his mattress on the porch.
Oh, is that
I
what
couldn't
you
have
did?
got in the attic.
Okay.
But
We need to have we need to make a redemption podcast where we just tell stories.
we should just have him on one time.
Oh, man, we should. Do you think he'd do it?
You know, his wife's in California right now.
With the kids. He's home alone.
We should see if... Let's talk.
Okay. we're doing that right now.
Let's talk.
Yeah, so I don't even remember where I'm at. Oh, basically, Banana's team goes. They win round 1.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah. Round 2 is where we first get our glimpse of
Isaac.
Preston helping. And
making game changes.
well, so Preston was in like the group of everyone like scrumming together, rugby term. And at some point someone yells, "Preston, go help whoever was the ball." I don't remember.
Oh, it was
Jordan?
Yeah, he's like, "Go help the ball." And so he runs, and then he does. Like, he pushes him through that goal. Like, he hits straight into, like, Brandon and a couple other guys, and they kind of fight through, gets goal. So Bananas gets round 2. Team B for Bananas gets round 2.
Yeah.
Because they split them up into 2 different groups each.
Which is Preston, Laurel, Nani, Johnny Riley, and Jordan, who was the ball.
And so then we get to round 3, and finally Kara's team wins a round. Her A team, which I don't remember who's
Which is
on that team.
Camilla, Anissa, Kara, Kahutta, Jasmine, and Zach, who is the ball.
Yeah, it's not a good daily for Jasmine at all. I mean, we didn't see anything from her, but I'm pretty sure that's because she couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's such a small person.
Yeah, like you get knocked over. I mean, we saw what happened with Isaac. He's got to outweigh her by double.
Yeah.
So I think that Kara wins that round. The next round, which is the B groups again, they almost smashed TJ at one point.
They he had to jump out of the way because they
He
hit
dove
him at
through
one point.
2 of them.
Yeah. Oh, he ain't afraid.
like he did get hit and almost knocked over.
So like the only thing I can compare that to is like when I worked at MTSU doing like football games, like doing audio or camera and stuff on the sidelines. It comes at you so fast. It's scary how quick.
Yeah, they made your leg fold that one time.
No, I don't. Yep, I don't know what you're talking about. But like, for
your leg's fine.
Yeah, you have to like be prepared to just throw your stuff down and like get out of the way because they'll nail you.
Do they make you pay for the equipment if it breaks?
Probably not. I didn't have to do that, but
Well, that'd be a miserable circumstance, wouldn't it? Because those cameras aren't cheap. You would know being our tech guy.
So I didn't do a lot down like camera wise on the sidelines. I did audio for a few games.
So you had the big round orb
bubble, the bubble
thing.
thing, which is really like you can hear everything with that.
Yeah.
But like when I would do camera, they had me up on top of the stadium, doing what they called hero cam because I was one of the few people in my group that was into tech stuff, but also understood sports and how the games flow. And so I would be the one that was like zoomed in tight and then would follow the ball through the air and then zoom in when they would catch it and all that stuff. But that camera was $150,000, and so I was not allowed to set that up.
That's the real deal right there, baby.
The engineers had to set all that up, and they were like, "You can't."
What brand was that thing? Panasonic?
I don't remember.
Sony.
Yeah. But yeah, we weren't allowed to do that. One time we did a game. We had to travel to the University of Memphis, and we got paid for it. And the engineers were looking out those big windows on the top of the stadium, and they didn't lock the lens in place, which the lens itself is like $80,000. And it slid and almost went out the front window down the stadium, which would have broken an $80,000 lens.
Probably would have hurt somebody too.
It was no one was there yet, but it was real bad. We wouldn't have been able to do the game.
Hurt someone's bank account.
Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely.
So that's why I wasn't allowed to do that. But TJ gets out of the way. Bananas team wins.
Thanks to Preston.
Yeah, we get Preston again.
Or thanks to Isaac.
Yeah, you could say thanks to Isaac, because he just kind of like, once he got knocked down,
that's it.
It's
he just like kneeled there.
He just
and
didn't care. He had given up.
I mean, I don't know if they were like all like weighted around him and like laid on his bubble to where he couldn't really move, or if he just was like, this is hard.
Well, like when he was stuck trying to get up, I think it was Zach that he yelled, Isaac, get up and keep going. And like they had the mic up on him and the camera up close, and he's like, I'm trying, but it didn't sound like he was straining very hard. You know, like when you're like legitimately trying, you're like, I'm trying, and he didn't sound like that. He sounded like he was just like, yeah, okay.
I mean, he's a strange personality. I enjoy him on the show, though.
He knows all about those Uruguayan lemons.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, he's a weird one for sure, but again, I like him. They brought him back for this season. Basically, Bananas wins because it's best 3 out of 5, I guess, and they get back to the house. Bananas team obviously has to deliberate on who they want to vote in.
Well, and real quick, just to
thank you,
perk Hannah up over here.
The
shout out.
second they get back to the house, everybody is praising Preston, calling him the king. It's like he's the hero.
Well, Swift said the MVP has to be Preston, no doubt.
Yeah, and in that same confessional...
And you're going to take Swift's word for it?
Well, in that same confessional, Swift fell out of his chair backwards, and I've never seen that before, and I thought that was really funny.
He was making fun of Preston, and then, yeah, he did fall out of his chair because he got over-animated.
Yep.
And then they cut the green screen so you could see how they filmed
what you
those.
pay for.
That's
not right.
So they get back. They're talking about deliberation for who they're going to vote in, and basically it's like Jess and Jordan and Laurel, and there may be some other people.
There were a couple other people.
Yeah, I don't remember, but they're discussing it, and they're like, "Hey, I want to call out Anissa, whatever," and they're like, "Let's keep that in here." Immediately, Jess leaves, and I was like, "Hey, Anissa."
Yeah, that was weird.
Like it was as soon as the words that came out of Laurel's mouth where she said, "Don't tell anyone this. Keep it between us." It's like Jess heard that and immediately turned around and tried to find Anissa as quickly as possible.
It could have been editing, and it could have been like 3 hours later, whatever. But it was like the same day for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jess has a turbulent history with Jordan going back to the Real World season. That whole Real World cast like hated each other apparently, and I'm pretty sure that's where all this stems from. So she doesn't want to do anything that's going to help Jordan. She doesn't want to do anything that's going to help Jordan's girl or whatever Laurel is at this point. I don't want to say girlfriend because I don't know what they are, but Anissa doesn't like that. Obviously, it's what we talked about earlier. She goes to confront Jordan right away, and Jordan just lies, straight up lies to her. And she's like, "I heard your girl." And he's like, "Who are you talking about?" And he's like,
she's like, you know.
And she's like, "They're saying my name." And she's like, "Well, someone did bring up your name, but we talked through some things." But it was Laurel who brought it up.
Well, he said something along the lines of, "Oh, that was someone else that brought up," and then she asked too, and he said, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah, he said, "Oh, I don't know."
And
then he piped in and told her, he's like, "You don't have anything to worry about because we've decided on somebody else anyway."
Yeah.
And of course she didn't buy that. She knows he's lying.
He was straight up just lying.
And what's weird, not to jump too far ahead, but when they actually got into the voting process, he didn't even vote Anissa.
Yeah.
I know. It was weird.
Jordan's a strange one.
He's playing a weird game.
It's a weird Jordan season.
Has a really good Jordan moment, a really good elimination moment coming up, but yeah, it's strange.
It's a weird one.
So this was his second season.
Yeah.
And it's just strange because, like, basically they go into another room, and, like, I didn't even write notes about this, but Jordan and Jess just, like, get into it. And they're, like, yelling at each other.
Like, screaming at each other.
And, again, you can tell there's, like, history behind that. Like, that's not just new stuff.
Well, and I don't know if this was before or after, but at some point, because John A. was saying that, like, she didn't know who she wanted to vote for.
He did a really passive-aggressive.
And he said, you got to have a voice at some point or we're going to start calling you Jess.
Yeah, that's what started it.
And then she was in the room, too. Like, she was
She was sitting right next to her.
Yeah.
That was the thing that started it. And so then they start going, and in that situation, he comes out looking like the jerk out of all of it. Like, I don't think she did anything wrong in that situation at all. Like Jess.
No, it was just weird. The whole going straight to Anissa thing was weird.
That was weird. I agree with that. But in that room,
when she was on the couch when they were yelling at each other, I thought it was a little uncalled for to say that right in front of her and whatever. So Jess gets up and leaves, and then it cuts to Nani, and she's like, "Yeah, she was really getting on my nerves," and and then everybody else is like, "Yeah, she's doing too much." Talking about Jess, and I'm like, I wonder if something else has been happening that was cut out, like that we aren't seeing.
I mean, maybe
nobody seemed too bothered by the fact that they were fighting.
No, so some of them afterwards said, like, I can't believe he talked to a girl like that. I don't know.
Well, it was Anissa and Jess and LaToya.
Yeah.
Telling Laurel, but Nani and the other people there seemed to be kind of done with Jess.
Yeah, so was at this the time when Laurel came in?
Yes.
No, actually it's after. I know what I'm. She comes in to defend
you know what you're doing.
Jordan.
You know what you're doing.
I couldn't remember the timeline because I was like, I'm pretty sure I made a note about it, and I did. But this has nothing to do with any of the current situation. But they do a confessional with Bananas, and he has the most helmet hair looking like haircut I've ever seen in my life.
This is the weirdest hair season for Bananas.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
I noticed
it's
that
like he watched Brink and then like got it like puffed up to look like his helmet as well.
He's got some rollerblades there somewhere.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brink, man.
Great
That's
movie.
probably the best Disney Channel movie.
Listen, I've seen it so many times.
It's so good.
So many times. It is a great movie. But listen, almost all the Disney Channel movies from then were just perfect. Smart House,
5 was in that movie.
Slam Dunk the Funk.
I don't know if they sang that song in there, but they were in it.
They had a lot of good movies that came out around then.
Those are your guys. 5.
Yeah. So basically, all right, we get into the deliberation. It goes around the room. Weird names get thrown out. We kind of hinted at it already. Jordan doesn't vote for Anissa. He votes for LaToya.
Yeah.
And that's weird.
Yeah, it was weird. But like, so I mean, one, they're sitting there and everybody's in there, and Laurel turns and starts like whispering in people's ears. She started with Swift, and she's like, "Make sure you vote for Anissa with me." Right in front of Anissa. Anissa hears it because she's like 3 people down.
Anissa's looking for a fight, though. Like
she is. She's mad.
Yeah.
So, like, they start with the voting, and just about everybody starts to vote Anissa. What got me immediately was it came to John A., and she said Jasmine's name.
Well, I think she did that because she knows Jasmine's not going to get mad at her. Like, she can just say Jasmine.
Well,
it's like, it's a burn vote.
She said it as a burn vote, but she was only halfway through. Like, 2 or 3 other people voted for Jasmine after that.
Yeah, again, it's dumb to do it, but they were, like, legitimately close, it seemed, during this.
Yeah, but Jasmine was mad.
This is what drives me crazy about Anissa, though, is, like, she's one of those competitors that takes everything personal.
Insanely personal.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah. When it's not. Now,
every time someone voted for her, she's like, bullshit. Like,
And it's annoying, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Stop. Am I right?
Stop it. Get some help.
Michael Jordan GIF, or if you prefer GIF. That's what you would put right there.
I prefer Jeff.
Her dad?
No, we watched that Good Mythical Morning video
Yeah, I know.
with Dylan Sprouse and the twins, and he was like, how do you pronounce it? And he goes, Jeff.
That guy's an idiot, though. Not Dylan, the other guy.
Some sweet life.
So
That was a good show, and you know it.
it wasn't good.
It was great.
They again, everyone's vote gets weird. It gets tied, and then
LaToya gets brought up again.
yeah, and then TJ's like, "Hey, you have to
Break the
run
tie.
it back, but you can only vote for the two that tied."
Jasmine's out
Yeah, and
because she got one less vote than the others.
yeah, and so they run it in opposite order. Jordan sticks with LaToya, and then it comes down to CT, and he stuck with his vote, which was
before that, it comes down to Jess, and Jess takes back her vote for LaToya or for Jasmine.
she has to.
And votes for Anissa after she promised. She ran to Anissa to tell her, and she's like, I've told you this, so make sure you don't say my name. And she's like, you don't say my name, I don't say your
But
name.
LaToya's from her Real World.
Well,
season.
and she even mentioned how like she had first made the
Yeah.
commitment to LaToya,
Yeah,
so
and
that's what
so-
it boiled down
But then
to.
everybody else in the house is like, yeah, you deserve that for running around playing a scared game. Like, everybody was like really happy that she said Anissa's name because that just showed kind of how she was. And then Anissa was really mad. She's like, you've shown your true colors.
Anissa's mad since she woke up that morning.
She's mad right now.
Yeah,
She probably is.
And so,
Hey man, we love Anissa. Like, we're talking about the competitor. Like, God bless Anissa, man. For real.
Listen, I love when Anissa is on these seasons. She is, to me, she's fun to watch, but she's mad all the time.
yeah, she's mad a lot. She does take things very personally.
Yeah.
They
We wish her the best, though.
it comes down to CT. He says LaToya, that calls it, and then they go through, and somehow it ends up Brandon for the guys.
Because CT was the last vote, and he voted Brandon, and that got Brandon in, and I've never been madder at CT.
Well, if you ask Brandon, it's Swift's fault.
Yeah,
it is Swift's
It is
fault.
Swift's fault.
Swift is the one that brought up his name,
Swift. That was like there was no reason for him to pick
and they're
Brandon.
supposed to be friends.
Like that.
Swift should have said Isaac.
It just didn't make any sense. Like for Swift to like feel like he needed to pick what everyone else was, because that's the thing. Everyone keeps forgetting this is free agents. You're all on your own team. Like, you're not for anyone else's team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It changes every day.
Well, it comes down to it, like, after the voting, Brandon comes and finds Swift and has like a man-to-man talk with him, and he's like, you have to realize that they don't have your back. You are in this alone.
Well, Brandon told us they had a lot of one-on-one pickup games in that gym.
Yeah.
Him and Swift.
But like, apparently they were really good friends at the time, and then Swift felt really bad about it once Brandon got voted into elimination. And then after they talked, like, Brandon, he didn't seem like he was just like, I'm so mad at you, I can't believe you've done this. But
He's like, quit being dumb. Like,
yeah, he was more like, you need to wake up and watch out for yourself and stop being so concerned with these other people in this house.
He gave him, a good old learn from your mistake speech, which you guys
Yeah.
gave me a couple of weeks ago. Am I right? Remember that one? That was a good
have
one.
you learned from it?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Well, he did tell us the cute girl in the gym he wanted to talk to, he didn't.
I did not.
He's
We're done
exercising
for a
that
while.
self-control.
We're done for a while.
He's not even looking at women. He's looking at men right now.
I am not.
So this is
No, like, just as an acquaintance or like a possible friend.
God help me.
So this is where Laurel goes into the room to try to like take up for Jordan, and she's only talking to the girls from Real World Portland who spent 3 months living with Jordan.
Yeah.
And it's LaToya and Jess. They're like, no, like, you don't get it. Like, this is how he is. Like, you've just met him.
Yeah, and they're like, you need to learn who it is that you're sleeping with.
It's a weird look for Laurel. I mean, I kind of get it, but it was like completely unnecessary. Like, let Jordan be dumb and do whatever. Like, don't try to like go fight for him behind the scenes.
Yeah, because it's not like they're dating outside of the show.
Laurel has some weird relationship stuff over the years.
For sure.
Hey, prior to this, it was CT,
Yeah, and then
and that was weird.
and then Peanut Butter came in a couple years ago. And then and just how she handles all of it in general is just kind of weird.
Yeah. Again, this is I don't know. It was just strange for her to like go in there and feel like she needed to.
Because she's such an alpha,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then you see how she kind of operates in a relationship type deal.
She's the not alpha in
No.
the relationship. I think maybe she just gets tired of being the boss all the time.
I don't know, but that happens. The Portland girls are like, don't care what she has to say. We know what Jordan is. They go to the elimination. They see what it is. It's basically like it's a circular version of Hall Brawl essentially, except it's chicken wire instead of like plexiglass.
Glass.
It's a solid elimination.
It is. I'm surprised they haven't brought that back.
Oh.
I wish they would, because like when they first showed it, I looked at Zach and I was like, "Is this Hall Brawl?" And he goes, "No," and I was like, "It's basically Hall Brawl, but you're running in a circle."
It's not Hall Brawl because that's its own. It's straightforward. It's plexiglass. Like if you meet in the middle, the walls aren't given. Whatever. This one again, it's just a circular version of it. I wonder if they're afraid people are going to get hurt because, like, at the end of this, you see Zach dive, and he like goes through that chicken wire.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the draw happens. Comes down to Kara again. I think this is 3 weeks in a row.
Yep.
And then Zach for the guys, which Brandon had in his one-on-one with Swift, said, "You know, give me Zach. I don't care. I'm going to give it my all."
Yeah.
And
he does.
Yeah, it's called Oppenheimer.
And then Zach gets the draw, and Brandon's immediately like, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew this was what was going to happen.
It was almost like foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's called Oppenheimer, and the girls go first. Kara versus LaToya, you're just running in opposite directions. You're going to meet at some point in the middle, and it's just whoever can get around and ring that bell on the other side first. And the only downside to this one is because you're running in a curve and it's in sand, you had a couple slips, like people that fell and whatever, and so maybe that's why they haven't done it.
LaToya slipped immediately.
Yeah, and so Kara just made up that ground like crazy and beat her. Wasn't even close first round, and then the second round, it was closer, but Kara still beat her. Just straight up beat her. They didn't really smash heads or anything.
They kind of like
shout out.
Like when they met in the middle, it's like kind of like they turned to kind of scoot around each other and then started running again.
Now Kara wins outright.
Yes.
So when the guys come up to it, Brandon's been playing football his whole life. We talked to him about that. He went to the University of Arkansas.
Well, and he acknowledged that he's always lined up across from guys who are bigger than him.
He's always been a smaller guy, but he uses his shiftiness and his strength and whatever. He's not afraid of anybody.
But that is not what he used the first time around here.
Yeah, man, that was a hard hit.
It did not work.
Yeah, I mean, Zach's probably six. Zach's like 6'4", and Brandon's like 5'8", something like that.
You're talking a solid 40, 50 pounds at least.
I was about to say 40 pounds.
And 6 inches.
Yeah.
And like...
It just ain't gonna work. The math doesn't work there.
Yeah.
I don't have to be a mathematician for that. It doesn't work.
It's
Why are we talking about so much
51-49.
math?
Yeah, 51-49 percentages here we're talking about.
So I mean, they hit hard,
Worst.
and it knocks Brandon back, and Zach's able to run by him, and he rings the bell. The next round, you're hoping for Brandon to get something, but I mean, it's one of those eliminations, man.
I had seen this elimination before because we had seen this. We had gotten to this episode previously, but I was still praying that somehow, some way, the episode would change and Brandon would win.
Would he have beaten any of the other three guys that were down there?
Who are they? Again?
Isaac?
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, that
After Isaac's portrayal in the Daily, I think
performance.
I was looking for the word performance.
It was an artistic portrayal.
I was looking for the word performance.
That's why he wasn't getting up. He was painting. He was,
He was doing a character study.
After Isaac in the Daily for that day, I think Brandon would have won.
So Isaac's maybe a couple inches taller than Brandon. He's thicker for sure, but Brandon's quicker.
Yeah.
So I think you give that to Brandon.
Kahada?
I think you give that to Brandon.
Brandon's bigger.
No, but now Coda's probably faster, but I mean,
Brandon can kind of knock him.
If Brandon hits Kohada the same strength he hit Zach,
then you reverse the roles.
Yeah.
Brandon would be Zach, and then Kohada would be Brandon.
Leroy
knocked down. Oof.
That's a harder one to kind of.
Leroy's bigger.
Because Leroy's a big dude too.
But he's got a hurt back. You have to take that into consideration.
I think Brandon's faster. I think that's I think that's probably as close to a toss-up as you would have for many of those people.
His back didn't come into play until like Rivals 3 though, wasn't it?
He talked about it on the Real World season.
Because I know that was the season he had to leave.
Yeah, no, but he talked about when he was the garbage man on the Real World, Las Vegas.
That's what hurt him so bad.
Yeah. So I mean, it may have it flares up and whatever. Because I mean, yeah, he's had other ones. Do you remember what? I guess it was Bloodlines. His cousin ripped her butthole open. Do you remember that?
What?
No, I just watched. It was Rivals 3.
Was it Rivals 3?
Oh my gosh, Simone.
Yeah, Simone.
It was Tom's partner. Yeah, because the grinding on the soap challenge. She just split her butthole open.
That's what it was. I got her and his cousin confused who was on Bloodlines.
There's a T-shirt idea. Split it open.
She did. She ripped her butthole open and got sent home.
Yeah.
I watched that season and I don't remember.
No, she didn't go home.
She didn't?
No, because I'm actually watching through that season.
But didn't his cousin get sent home in Bloodlines?
See, I'm not watching. You're getting those seasons.
I'm getting
intertwined.
So stop bringing it up.
Well,
you're confusing everybody.
No,
right now.
So there's
and you have some listeners right now that are screaming in their car at you because you're so wrong.
Everybody screams at us.
I got them mixed together.
They do, I guarantee.
Because Leroy's cousin, I'm 90% sure in Bloodlines, got sent home and he had to go, and then
I remember her. Yeah.
And then Simone, I guess, in the season prior, ripped her butthole open.
Or the season later.
Was it later?
Rivals 3 is after Bloodlines.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't. It's been a while. That is right. That's right. Because Hannah watched Rivals 3.
I'm right, and you're wrong.
Good one.
Such a common happening around here.
Yeah, it's man, that's a tough way to go out.
Yeah.
But
do you ever? No, you haven't done that. I would know if you'd split your butthole open.
As far as I'm aware, it hasn't happened.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Does
I would think I would know.
Well, because it's already an open hole.
Yeah.
True.
Do you ever bleed in your butthole?
Have you ever thought about when so?
How do you split a hole open?
Well, so have you ever thought about your
don't do that.
Your inside your organs and all that are just connected to your skin, and you're basically one big tube but in a weird shape. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah, people talk about that all the time on Twitter.
Yeah, all the time. People just talk about it all the
Twitter,
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter's a weird, great place.
Yeah. Great.
It's a stupid place sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Today.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So yeah, I mean, that was episode 4. I mean, not super eventful one, but that daily was
fun daily.
Anissa promised to get back at Laurel.
Who cares? God bless Anissa, though. Really.
Honestly, I don't think Laurel is ever going to be in a position where she... I haven't seen this season other than I think this is the last episode that we saw of this season. But I feel like Laurel is such a beast and monster at this challenge thing that she won't be in a position to be voted in. I mean, also, who's going to vote for her other than Anissa?
Oh, Laurel doesn't sit with some people well, but I mean, in anyone you ask, if you're going to give a top 5, Laurel's going to be in, I think, every
top 3
sane person's top 5. Anissa's not. She's just not.
She's not in the top 20.
That's harsh.
I'd have to make out a list. I really don't know off the top of my head.
She might be in my top 20.
No, she's not in mine.
I don't want to do that right now because that's going to take way too long.
Go through your top 20 right now.
Can't do it.
So let's get to superlatives. Who smashed some heads?
Who smashed some heads? Ask Hannah first.
Preston. I even put a little heart by his name.
Yeah, man, you know what? When you earn it, you earn it. And for a guy who continuously gets picked last,
it keeps showing up.
You have to acknowledge.
Preston's all around.
Yep.
Amen.
His quote at the Daily was, I'm going to show people I can get down.
Also, afterwards, he got to just make fun of people. He he just basically was like flexing on everyone, like them in the room, and CT thought it was great.
I thought it was great. He deserved it. He earned it.
I've been in those situations before where you're looked at as the one that's gonna suck, and then
I look at him like that every day.
I've been that guy.
On basketball.
That's right.
Yeah, like I went with some guys that I knew. I was the only white guy there. It was not in a good area, and I never played there before, and so I started playing pickup with these guys, and I was guarding this huge guy, and he was guarding me. Didn't know him, and the only place I've ever played basketball where people were just smoking weed outside the court. The awesome thing is, every time I scored on him, they just made fun of him. It was like I was like a hero for just doing anything, and I was like, that's fine with me. I was like, who cares? It's good times. You weren't there.
No, I wasn't. I didn't go to college.
I wasn't at college.
Were you not at college?
That was here.
All right.
That was here. That was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Good one.
He just wanted to bring that up.
Well, who got their head smashed?
Jake, because he didn't go to college. Apparently. And that's why he missed his pickup game.
I don't go first. You're first.
Yeah, that's right. I do go first. Swift smashed his own head by calling out his friend and then putting his friend in elimination.
Anissa.
I knew that was
But we
coming.
wish her well.
I don't know that you do. You've been ripping on her pretty hard.
I'm just trying to get this face out because I want to see what I look like old.
Okay.
Oh, I want put it on your phone so I can do it for me.
So
because I don't want to get it.
I'm gonna say, as much as it hurts me to say it,
Here we go.
Brandon,
Yeah.
because he got hit head on real hard.
Well, I mean, if I hadn't put Swift, I was going to put TJ.
Oh no, TJ escaped it. That would have been factually
he got,
incorrect.
He got hit and then jumped out of the way before it got worse.
TJ is as swift as a fox, and he never gets his head smashed. Other than when he did actually smash his head really hard.
And was in the hospital for a long time.
That's not... Yeah, he did do that. Then he did it not long ago where he like gashed his forehead pretty bad.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
He smashes his own head when he rides BMX a lot. But, I mean, that's on his terms. He decides what he wants to do.
It's not anybody else doing it to him.
Yeah.
Life to live. Life on your terms.
Yeah. So, anyway, we'll be back next week with Free Agents Episode 5. We had to record, again, a little bit late, a day late, actually, just because of some work conflicts. But we'll be back next... this pod will drop Wednesday. It'll drop Tuesday like it's been dropping the last couple of weeks. And we're going to finish out Free Agents. Still no official announcements from MTV yet regarding Season 34, so we're not going to talk about any of that. I will say they are done filming because everyone is super active on social media again.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, a bunch of them just popped up out of nowhere. And so that typically means that they are 100% done filming, and anyone that you saw posting beforehand was all like premeditated or they had someone running their accounts.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, a lot of them did that.
I did not think about that.
Especially the ones that have like brands and stuff. Like, yeah, it's all someone else doing it because they're not allowed to while they're
I don't
filming.
know who's on the new season. Does that mean Jenna's on the new season? Because this whole time I was thinking, oh, Jenna's...
We're not talking about any of that on Mike.
Okay, well, I was just...
Yeah.
In my brain, because she was posting daily, I thought she wasn't on this season.
Again, there's a lot of factors that go into it.
I didn't know that they had people that would post for them. Now it's going to be a real surprise. I won't know who's going to... I don't have a clue who's on there.
Yeah, so whenever MTV gives an official announcement, we will do kind of like we did with War of the Worlds. We'll run through the cast, say what we think. War of the Worlds was weird because we had a lot of new people that we were just like, I hope they're good.
Half the cast was new.
Yeah, and so we'll have. I'm assuming we're going to have some new people, but we won't have an entirely new group to learn. But again, we'll be back next week. If you want to check out our Patreon, it's patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. There's a few tiers to choose from, and we do a Patreon exclusive podcast that we do at least 2 times a month called Redemption House, and then we're actually starting this Rock of Love rewatch, which is going to be its own separate thing. Plus, we'll do interviews with our patrons and stuff every so often, that type of thing. So
we have some giveaways.
Yeah, we've done some giveaways that are exclusive to Patreon, and anyone who signs up, on the $5 and up tier, which is where you listen to the extra stuff. You get a sticker and some
you
other things
also
like
get exclusive info before it's dropped publicly.
True, and you also get all of our interviews at least 24 hours in advance. So again, patreon.com/smashingheads podcast, that directly supports this show and helps keep it running, and we will be back with you guys next time.
And hey, if anybody else would like a personal how's everybody doing tonight,
just ask for it.
Give us something.
Oh, we're doing exchanges, gift exchanges.
Well, to be fair, he gifted us something and then asked for it.
Right.
That's
okay.
fair.
Okay,
That's
so from
fair.
now on, if you want your personalized HEDT,
I like it.
in exchange for that, you must mail us corn dogs.
I do not want you to mail us corn dogs because they would be disgusting.
It
by the
doesn't
time they
matter.
got
Jake
here.
hates corn dogs, but we love them. Most people in our Slack group love corn dogs. So mail us corn dogs and you'll get your own HEDT.
But what I will give everyone is my gift to you.
Oh my God!
Is
hurry
to
up.
tell you,
It's like a slow train getting started.
have a good night, everyone.